All right.
Welcome inside the live studio of Love and Business, where we
Yeah.
allow love and legacy goals to fuel our passion for business. Let's lock in and grow. I'm joined as always by the one and only, the
Jesus.
official Crystal Robinson, the CEO of Dominate with Crystal and all things positive. And I am Loin Robinson. And
Hey.
this is Love and Business. Thank you guys for joining. Please like and share. Please like and share. Let us know where you're watching from. We missed y'all last week. So let us know where you're watching from. Like and share, tag. I got you, Tracy. Thank you so much for doing that. Last week was a bit of a break for us. I think it was well needed. It was a
Yeah.
busy week, and this week doesn't seem to be slowing down anytime soon.
No, I think
So
it's a lot of moving
um,
parts.
so yeah, hey, let us know where you're watching from. Chicago, Chi-Town, Harold's Chicken,
Hey. Yeah.
Harold's Chicken,
It's been 2
H-Town.
weeks. It feels awkward
It does.
to
It does.
not get to do the podcast on a Thursday night, but we're here. Praise
Live
the
and in
Lord.
color.
We have made it.
Yep. Welcome to the Love and Business Studio.
Yeah. You ain't got nothing?
No, man. I mean, I do. I have a lot, but it's just a matter
I'm
of
saying it's been 2 weeks and you don't have any you know, inappropriate, outlandish,
inappropriate.
that
Yeah.
too. I
Okay.
think I might be sleepy.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I
I
really
had a jam-packed schedule today.
Mhm.
Like literally from the time I got up until this moment, I have been
H-Town
moving.
in the
So
building, Indian country, baby. Let's go.
oh my Lord. Have your shout out in the middle of my statement there.
Yeah.
Continue.
My bad. No, go
Oh
ahead. My
no.
apologies. My apologies.
Hazelhurst is way more important.
I did get excited.
I see
I
you
got
did. I
excited.
mean, yeah.
I got excited. I did.
One Hazelhurst person enter the room and you just lose all focus. Yeah. Say what you need to say, sir.
I didn't say
Indian
it.
country. Yeah. Oh, golly. Go Indians. Raise the roof.
There you go. Speaking of, no, go ahead with your intro.
I don't
please.
have anything else.
No guts, no glory.
Yep. Great.
Yeah.
Continue. Yeah, you just dismantled my statement.
All
I don't
right,
even know
cool.
what I was going to say.
So I did have something interesting happen
Mm.
this week.
I just asked you that before the podcast, and then you
it
was
just
like,
came
no.
to me. It just came to me.
Mm.
And you probably won't, it's not something that you necessarily, So I had a friend of mine or old teammate of mine. He tagged me in this post, and it was about basically the Mississippi High School Athletic Association's record chart. I think we had a few kids that competed, but someone posted on there that they had a record that was on, and he highlighted my name because I still hold a record from 2002 for a bench press.
Mm.
I then so I was like, okay, cool, man, that's pretty dope. I look at it and he was like, man, you have the oldest record that's on this chart. Everything else, the next to the closest to it is 2009. Everything else was, up above that. He's like, man, 22 years later, you still hold this record.
Mm.
And but part of me was like, man, that's pretty cool, right? But what was even cooler than that was my coach reached out to me because apparently this circulated to him as well. And he was like, man, one thing I realized is as I went from team to team, I went looking for superstars or went looking for athletes when all the time I needed to build them. You know what I mean?
That's what he said.
Yeah, like I needed to build, and he was like, "Man, when I was in Hazelhurst, I built, we built that program from the ground up, so to speak. The first year when I was a freshman, we went 1-10.
He said, "Are you talking about Willie Brown?"
Absolutely, I'm talking about Coach Brown, Willie Brown. So yeah, man, it was, but it took me back for a moment because I was like, man, in building anything.
Mm.
A lot of times we look for Michael Jordans, we look to be a Michael Jordan, but it's really the consistency. It's really just the will to want to do something, right? If we can start with the belief that we can do it, I really think that I was telling Caitlin about this earlier today, and she was like, your coach reached out to you? And I was like, yeah, you know, she was like, he still talks to you. I'm like, yeah, Coach Brown, you know, Coach Brown was like my guy, and any good coach that you have would be that person for you. Which, and I was like, that's why I'm telling her, I'm like, that's why I was so upset that your coach, you know what I'm saying, was had the minimum level of enthusiasm that she had. You know,
Yeah.
it's like she was looking over there like a librarian at the game. She
Yeah.
want to put a bookmark in the page and say, all right, guys, let's take a hydration break.
Yeah.
Or something along those lines. But in building anything, you know, a lot of times nobody has to be a superstar. Like, you don't have to be readily, you know, looking like that, but you do have to be willing to work.
Yeah,
You know, you do have to be willing to work. And I really think that that's one of the things that a lot of people, if it's not a shiny diamond right now, you know, or when you look at it, they don't look to develop it. You know, and a lot of times we have to develop ourselves. You know what I mean? Everybody wants to sit at a table that's already built, and it's like, hey, what can I do to build my own table? Right? What can I do to make my situation better? I don't have to just necessarily connect with someone else's situation to make it better. What is it that I can do to make it better? I know Coach Brown made us believe in ourselves. It was like, we go shock the world one play at a time. No guts, no glory. That was it, you know, right? And that's stuff that I still hold today. And I think that anybody that was on that team or on those teams that was under his guidance would say the same thing. No guts, no glory. He made us feel like we can play against anybody. You know, a 7A school, 6A, it doesn't matter. You line up, you got 11, we got 11. We scrappy. We go get it done.
Yeah.
We go get it done. And the thing is, you know, I look back at it and it was like we only had about 19 players, 20 players on the team.
Y'all didn't really have like a full grown.
No, we didn't. The team was so small that we made a circle when we came out of warm up, like the basketball team would. Instead of having like 5 lines of 5, because we would have had 5 lines of like 3 or 4, you know. So we just made a circle, and all of the captains got in the middle, you know, to make it so it would look like we was so underhanded there. But I thought that was pretty cool, man. I thought that was pretty cool that
that's a big deal.
That was still out there, still been recognized. But at the same time, that's not something that I want to hang everything that I've ever done on. You know what I mean?
I think you've gotten over that.
Yeah. But I think that you know, that's still something that I have to, you know, like, hey, yeah, that's an accomplishment.
Consciously do.
Well, it's just one of them things where it's just like, yeah, it's an accomplishment, and yeah, I can pat myself on the back, but is my family eating today? You know what I mean? I can see if we were still getting royalties from it or something.
That ain't gonna happen.
That's it. 28 Sweet, man. That's our bread and butter. We can run that in our sleep. I can still run 28 Sweet right now. That's just it. If I had a few others, I'd run it. You know what I mean?
You want to get up and give us an example?
Hey, I might. No, I ain't gonna do it today.
Yeah.
But no, I thought that was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. I mean, to have a record like that in powerlifting, right?
It was powerlifting, and the only thing I could really think about was the fact that we met at a powerlifting competition.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, man, dang, this was cool. And I may have, you know, set the record there, but I was just like, man, you know, that was
of course you would have to have set it there. Like,
because it is a state powerlifting.
That was the state.
Yeah.
I mean, right. I'm sure you probably said it because I was there, but
yeah, I believe so. Because you was
recording to this day. I don't know where that tape is at, but
yeah, I know.
That's weird that this came up because I had breakfast today with my my high school classmate, and she was joking, and she was like, "Well, you know, you're not just a regular average person. You do know that you a history maker, right? You do know, you know what I'm saying, that you was the first female ever to lift in the state of Mississippi, right?" And I'm like, she's making like this joke of it, and we both are kind of, you know what I'm saying, laughing about it. And I was just like, yeah, but you know, it wasn't like this, you know, this big deal, you know, but then now you're bringing this up, and now I'm like, well, that kind of
was a big deal.
Yeah, but it's not like
they had to create a whole division for you.
They did, but I'm saying, like, you see how that circulated for you? I don't see any, you know what I'm saying, like circulation for that. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, oh, you know, you lifted heavy, but of course, like now, you know, they do actually have teams for girls, you know, like, whereas of course I was lifting against guys, which was a whole situation in itself. But you know, I just didn't put, I don't, just like how you didn't put all that weight on, well, no pun intended, but you
didn't put all that weight
on being able to like do that. Like, it wasn't like, you don't think about that every day.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I don't think about that every day.
Yeah.
But I guess I do think, like, now, because when I was talking to Brittany today, I was like, I didn't realize that Lemoyne just kind of went, like, literally off the sofa type deal and did that. Like, you guys didn't practice.
No, we didn't. We didn't. We lift weights, but we lift to play football.
I was flabbergasted because we were on diet plans. We had practices, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had scheduled practices. We practiced every Saturday that we didn't have a meet. We practiced through the week. So I would have to practice after basketball practice, but I just think about, like, the mental fortitude that you have to be, an athlete.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in high school and still, be able to perform.
Yeah, because you graduated number 4 in your class.
Oh gosh.
I mean,
she brought that up too.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal, man. I be telling my girls that, like, hey, your mom graduated. I'm glad. I was surprised I graduated with honors, to be quite frank.
I don't remember things like that. Like, it's not that I've forgotten.
Okay.
And I don't know if we're going into a, like, makeshift topic or whatever we're doing here, but I don't think about those types of things. And so, like, when we were in the conversation about it today, like, I'm just kind of laughing, giggling. She's laughing and giggling, but it's like, I think that it helps that we don't build on our future by, what we've accomplished in the past. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Like, I think it's helpful for me, not that I'm trying to forget, but that I don't remember that so much that I don't focus on, like, what's to come.
Right.
Yeah.
To think that you're owed something by what happened.
Yeah. I mean, because I think a lot of people get locked in on, I was, number such and such in my class, or, I was valedictorian, or, I was state champion,
right.
I won a state championship basketball, whatever. Like, I just think that that can sometimes become a person's identity.
100%. Absolutely.
That's where they are. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not thinking for myself, like, if somebody were to look back and say, this is the life of Crystal Robinson, that they get me stuck at, she graduated number 4 in her high school class, or, she was first female to, be on a powerlifting team in the state of Mississippi or whatever, nor do I want them to, harp on my biggest mistakes, but I want to be able to, I want people to see the totality in what it is that we're able to do, like, over time. So for me, I don't just stick on, we did this. We know we did that. Like, it's just, let's just keep, forward progress.
Now, let me ask you this. Do you think that that's kind of a quote unquote superpower of yours? Because a lot of times I think that people get in a role, in a job or a career, and that's what they want to be identified by.
Yeah, like, I'm Dr. Such and such, or
exactly,
or
hey,
I just practice law here, or whatever.
Versus, or people that just may be in an everyday, job, and then it's like, I don't want to change,
or whatever.
That's their identity. That's how they identify. You know what I mean? But then they don't want to change it because that's their identity. Yeah. Versus that just being their job, that being their career of choice. Like, some football players may say, hey, I play football for a living, but that ain't who, that's not all I have. That's not who I am in totality.
I don't think, and that's another thing we were talking about at breakfast this morning. You got my phone tapped?
No, why?
Because it seemed like you was, picking up pointers on our conversation for some reason.
Oh yeah, I got it tapped.
Nah, sure. We talked about. I kind of, brought up in the conversation that I wanted to figure out, which is some of what I talked about at the $1 Million Expert live event. We haven't been on here since that event.
There you go. Yeah.
I know. And so
you had a shirt on.
My conversation was, I've been wearing all of my $1 Million stuff the last couple of days, just trying to, continue to saturate myself in the environment, even though I'm not there. But at the event, I talked about, normalizing the $1 Million conversation. And then at breakfast this morning, I was just sharing with Brittany, is like, I try to figure out ways to normalize what we do, so that people aren't feeling like what we do is a superpower. Because you asked, do you feel like that's a superpower of yours? And I was like, I'm just doing what I was created to do. And I really want other people to be able to say, I was created to do X, or I was created to do this, versus, zoning in on what Lamorne does or what Crystal does or what whoever, like instead of saying, oh, this person is super sweet, like that's just what they're able to do. When we're just operating in, I guess our level of genius or purpose, or passion or whatever you want to call it, like we're just able to do that thing because that was the thing that we were created to do. And because, we've done the work to clear out all of the blockers that, stop us from identifying that thing, to the rest of the world, it looks like a superpower.
Yeah.
When really and truly it's just everybody else's stuff is just under some dirt,
And you gotta, you
just gotta clear out the stuff, you know what I'm saying, to get to the goal that's at the bottom.
And some of it, to be honest, I mean, I don't feel like we identified it until we were doing things. You know what I'm saying? And I still feel like it's fluid. I still feel like it is, we're still becoming and doing things, to continue to explore, what that the whole totality of the purpose looks like, but I really genuinely feel like it didn't start happening or uncovering the dirt, as you labeled it, until we were in motion, like we were doing something.
I agree. We've said from our coaches several times over, that clarity comes in motion. And then I was I've had a day,
long day.
I did
and it ain't over.
Is it a podcast? I guess it was a virtual summit recording earlier today, and I talked about that too. It's not a superpower.
Okay.
All right. I think that it is our purpose. You know what I'm saying? Like, in what people, when you see a person operating in their purpose, it looks like a superpower.
Yeah.
But really, but it's just them being who they were created to be.
Yeah.
So like I was saying, I just want more people to see, I want people to see that as normal.
Just being in that purpose.
Versus you're an anomaly or you're abnormal because you're operating in purpose.
So you stand out, or people that operate in purpose stand out because not enough people are operating in their purpose.
No, I think a lot of people are still trying to find it. They're trying to identify it. They're trying to see what pieces and parts, that they can put together.
Yeah.
But like you said, clarity starts in motion. I talked about on the summer recording today that, everything that we've done even before we were in business, it all matters for now.
Yeah.
Even from
all of it,
reading the books and going to the events and watching the YouTube videos and like all of these pieces and parts, and then moving on to selling dogs, and then dog shows, and then network marketing. Like, all of those things matter to help us to then, uncover more and more and more purpose.
Yeah.
Like, all that stuff is a part of the journey, but the average person is looking to see how they can go from 0 to 1,000, like overnight, not appreciating 100%. The parts in the process that's in between.
Yeah. I think about, I don't know how many of you guys played like video games when you growing up, but we used to play Zelda.
Yeah, I played Zelda. You know that?
Yeah, Zelda was one of those games where
they said it was evil though. They said
it may have been Zelda
spirits on it or something, but maybe, the Saints.
Yeah, the Saints will find anything.
I don't know, because they were doing potions and stuff like that. You had to go buy the potions and
go
stuff.
See the lady and
see the witch. It might have been it might have.
But I mean, hey man, he was a little guy.
But you had to go see wizards and stuff.
Yeah, you did. I mean,
oh man,
it was almost
like it might have been a little demonic.
Some Harry Potter type stuff.
I repent, Lord.
Man, get out of here with that.
Hey, I'm just saying, just in case you can't justify what it is. I'm just in case. I repent, Lord. Now you ain't got to repent. But I am. Just in case.
Make sure she get to the gates.
Please, and him too, since he ain't got enough sense to ask for forgiveness for playing Zelda for 5 years.
Yeah, I ain't playing for 5 years, but we played it for a minute. But what I was about to say was, you were saying that, each thing is a part of the journey.
Yeah.
Right. And in Zelda, the thing that I think was probably most critical is if you missed a piece, like you would have to go back like a whole level maybe or another stage to go find that piece that you were missing that you would need when you got 2 or 3 levels up. And I was like, man, I think about that now, and I try to I look at situations and say, okay, yep, I'm going through this. This is the part of the the game that I'm in right now, right? Because this is going to serve me later on, right? So yeah, let me get this and put it in my little satchel so that I can have this and be able to pull on it when when I need it. Maybe not on this level, or it may seem pretty insignificant to get this glass bottle. And put it in this little satchel. And then 2 levels from now, I'm gonna need a glass bottle to fill the potion and take it to the princess so that she doesn't perish or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that, those are those skill sets. I think about the skill sets that we picked up with the dog shows, the skill sets that we picked up with the network marketing, which I think was a cool thing with the with just building our belief. With seeing that and really, I think we're in a season right now where we're starting to dream again. Like where we're really starting to continue to expand our horizon.
I agree.
As it relates to that. Last night, I don't know who does this, but we've done it before. But last night we were, just watching YouTube videos of.
Well, it wasn't our idea.
It wasn't, you know what I'm saying?
Kind of flew off in my lap here.
But yeah, we watching YouTube videos of just man, these massive, nice properties in Florida and other places like Texas and things like that. And we just realized, man, like, hey, okay, I think you can get complacent on every level. Right? You can get complacent if you working just, hand to mouth is what the old folks say, meaning you ain't got much wiggle room. And then you can get complacent if you run multiple operations and you're comfortable from a financial perspective. But what is it, what can you expand, and where will you allow your vision to take you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the part where really you can look at it and say, dang, it is more to, to this thing. It's more to it. And as you continue to explore and expound on those gifts, I really do feel like that those things come to you. But you don't have you can't ask for something that you don't know you want. You can't go after something that you don't necessarily know you want. And that's the, the biggest thing. Can we expose ourselves to those elements so that we can know, okay, this is what I want, or no, I don't want that at all. Yeah. I don't want to go that way at all.
Yeah, I guess I probably should have maybe given it the topic anyway. I was trying not to talk about it. Why I don't know, but maybe that was the thing. But I had this idea earlier today.
Let's talk about it.
Because after watching first of all, before I dive into this, I think we should hit the share button. I think you should tag some people. Because we may go into a nice conversation. I think we will.
We might. Yeah, we might.
But yeah, hit the share button, tag some of your friends, throw it in their inbox and tell them to come and hang with us tonight. So I thought about titling this podcast, which I probably will after this, Confiding in Comfort. Because I think that a lot of times we go and seek out comfort, whether it's intentional or unintentional. I think we go to places that are comfortable for the most part because we feel semi good there.
Yeah.
Or we're afraid of the unknowns, right? And so when we were watching the videos last night of these houses, I mean, they were amazing. I realized at that particular point that I had gotten comfortable.
Okay.
That was my first, layer of discovery. Is I felt like, oh, I am comfortable.
I imagine so.
And it was weird for me to have that type of thought, because I was like, but how? You know what I'm saying? Like, how would I get comfortable?
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm still, diving through like some of the thoughts, because I intentionally do things that put me, in
like uncomfortable situations, right?
Yeah. But as I am, like sorting through some of the thoughts, I'm like, but how did I get comfortable? Like, in what exactly?
Yeah.
Am I comfortable in the routine of things?
Yeah. It's like, this level.
Yeah. And so then I was like, well, now what? So I'm now trying to go back and forth and figure out, because what really happens is, as I am watching this video of this house, and I've seen, like, I follow these pages on Instagram intentionally, like billionaire something page or wealth something page or whatever. So it shows me a whole bunch of, massive size mansions, you talking 20,000, 30,000 square feet spots or whatever. This particular place that shows up on the video that we were watching last night, it was only 8,000 square feet, and it was amazing.
It was right there on the lake.
But it was on the lake.
It was on the lake.
And as I am watching this video, I feel this tightness in my chest. And I'm like, now, why is my chest tight? I immediately understand that I am going to need to do something for myself to get out of this situation. Because when you work with people like Sean Strickland, like, if your body reacts to something,
now you need to figure something out.
You need to figure something out, right? If you feel something in your belly, your toes tingling, like whatever is happening, you got to go through the work. And so I'm not one to tell other people to do the work and I not do the work. So I immediately sent her a message, because she's the one that sends me the video, so I'm like, hey, my chest is tight. Wow. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is going on? So we do this thing called the 5 whys. So she was like, well, I guess we're going to have to 5 why the situation. And I'm like, okay, I'm up for it, because I don't want my chest to be hot. And I'm laying next to you and I'm like, man, my chest. I just keep saying, like, my chest is hot. So it was weird.
As long as she was talking, I was all right.
But I was having this crazy reaction. And I couldn't really get, to the meat of it, because I was concerned with, why is my chest burning like this for something that what I thought was seemingly small, right? I thought it was seemingly small. But it's 8,000 square feet. It's on the lake. And I'm like, man, this is an amazing property. So my chest, I'm holding my chest, and I keep saying this, and then I start breathing, because I'm like, maybe if I just concentrate on breathing,
in through the nose, out through the mouth,
then the burn will go away. So she's like, well, what's the first thought that comes up? And I was like, oh, well, I think I'm realizing that I'm comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like, she was like, okay, why number 2? You know what I'm saying? Why is this particular property, having you like this, feel this way? And I'm like, maybe, I realized that I could, that I like the property, right? Like, I really like the property. And maybe I'm thinking in my mind, I can actually, get this property. Like, I liked it a lot, but I'm like, still, why is my chest burning like this? So I lay there, I lay there for a little while, and I'm like, I don't know the third answer, because you got to do 5 whys. I'm like, I really don't know the third reason why.
Asking yourself, why am I feeling
this
what
way?
What could possibly be the reason
for this particular property? And I still was like, I'm stuck here. Like, I'm still trying to figure out, why am I not, moving past this? Because in my mind, I'm like, I do all of this, personal development. I'm reading them, and now I'm focusing and studying specifically on faith. Like, that's what I've been studying for almost a month now. Is faith. Every morning I'm reading on faith, pulling scriptures on faith, trying to gather a better understanding of, my faith walk. Right. So I'm like, for sure now, why is this coming up? As if I say I want a thing, now I have like this reaction as if it's gonna be, what I'm saying, a challenge, right, to get there. And so I lay for a little longer. Let me see what I said my number 3 was, because I don't know if I remember it verbatim. I said, so I tell her, I said, after seeing this property, I instantly said to myself, I could live there. And then the burning in my chest came. So on the number 3, oh no, on number 3, I said, this house made me realize I'm comfortable. And I was stunned at my response.
Okay.
I typed it, but I was stunned at my response. Now at about number 4, I'm breathing deep. I'm trying to figure it out. I'm like, I'm still thinking, I don't know if that was the thing. And then she says, well, maybe number 3 was the answer. And I was like, I wasn't satisfied, you know what I'm saying, with that. So I kept, you know what I'm saying, pushing at it. And then I said, I'm gonna keep asking myself, because I don't think that was the only thing that was, you know, triggering the response. So then I said, here's my number 4. I'm still building the belief that attaining that house can be done without toil.
Okay.
And then I say, seeing this house made me feel like I had to work and toil to get it. So now I'm uncovering like something that I didn't necessarily know was in there, right? So I'm looking at this house, realizing like all of these other things that we've been able to accomplish, which I've said, you know, several times before, it was done because I was, you know what I'm saying, I was working, you know, all of these gears are just firing off, right? I'm doing it by my hand.
Yeah.
And so last year I had made this firm decision that I was going to walk with God, not do it by my hand.
Yeah.
And when I saw the house, knowing that I wanted to obtain the house, I reverted back to, oh my God, but if I go there, I would have to toil to get there.
Yeah, what do I need to do to do
And so this burning in my chest is coming because I'm like, no, I don't want to go there. I don't want to go there. Like, I don't want to work. You know, like I'm really having like this internal turmoil type of situation. And so I'm breathing through it now that I'm realizing like, oh, I thought it was fear. And I think it was some combination of fear, but I also think that it was the part of the toil that made me feel like I cannot go there. I cannot toil. And then I said, I don't even want it if I have to toil.
Okay.
So I'm still going through my chest is still.
Now I make sure that everybody that just joined knows what these 5 whys. But you know, what is the point of the 5 whys? Is it to uncover?
Yeah, it's to get to the root of the issue. Because most of the time, when you ask somebody a question, especially when it's a question where, you know what I'm saying, there's something deeply rooted that you got to bring up. When you ask a person a question and it's a tough question, most people are gonna say, well, I don't know.
I got you.
There are a lot of answers are going to be, I don't know.
And when they do that, they give up a lot of possession.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Like they give up a lot of ownership.
They're not even searching for an answer.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And when we know, when we say, I don't know, then our brain stops looking for the answer.
Yeah.
So I knew that I couldn't say I didn't know. I just said, I'm still thinking through it. I'm still breathing through it because I wanted to get to the root of the matter. Because I'm like, no, I know that there is more here, right? Like I know that God is promising more. Like on my walks, I'm hearing stuff like, you asked for too little.
So one of the first things you're saying is you can't give up the power by saying I don't know. You gotta
not in the 5 why exercise. Yeah. No, you gotta answer. We don't accept I don't know as an answer.
Yeah,
it doesn't count for one of your 5 why answers, right? Like, so I knew not to give that, but I didn't want to give I don't know. I wanted to get, like I said, I wanted to get to the root of the matter.
Yeah.
So I'm now understanding that this toil situation is a problem, right? Because for years now, like we talked about the other day, next year we will officially have been, full-time entrepreneurs for 10 years.
For 10 years, yeah.
And so if you really think about that, my default mechanism would be toil. For my 10,000 hours.
That's it. Yeah.
So when you think about it, I've mastered that area. So when I'm seeing the house and saying, oh, I want to attain that, I'm now
go back to
equating that to, oh, what do I have to do with my hand to get that?
Right.
And I was like, oh no. And then I talked about on the summit recording earlier today, I was like, there is no. Now in the space that I'm in, and especially after going through that journey last night, and I'm just on my 4th why answer. I said, I don't want anything that comes with sorrow, because the word tells me that if it came with sorrow, it wasn't from God.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Like, as a matter of fact, if there is any point in time where I feel sorrow, then I want to be able to stop in the moment and say, God, I'm sorry. Do you want me to take the next exit to the left or the next exit to the right? But let me get off of this highway because I know it ain't the one you ordained, because it's sorrow.
Yeah.
So I was like, I think that's kind of
indicator.
Yeah. And so last night, even though this house was on a YouTube video that was casted to my television.
It was a good one, though. It was a good one.
I had then zoomed myself in because I can do this thing, right, where I can see myself in a place. And some kind of way, I think I had then, like catapulted myself.
Teleported.
To this place. And I had toiled to get in there. And so I think that's where the tightness was coming from, in my chest.
So you want something, and then you try to figure out a way to do it, and that can create some toil.
Yes, and I was identifying that I was going back to default mechanism.
I got you. Default.
Because the video was to get us to dream, right? To get us to see the vision. And what I was realizing is, when I dream this way, then I come up with a plan.
Okay.
Not, hey, God, how do you want, because there's situations where we will follow his plan up until a certain point. But do we follow it all the way out to fruition?
We'll see the plan, but we don't, we try to put all the steps in between.
We only see the end goal.
We know where we at and we see the end goal.
And I was trying my best to say, I want this, Lord, but I don't want it like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't have the words last night to compute like what was happening internally in my body.
But your body keeps score.
My body keeps score. Exactly, and my body was like, no, don't go there.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, my chest is hot. I don't know what to do with my chest, because I even,
Get a cool patch or something.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get to my number 5. I'm gonna get to my number 5 so we can just have a real conversation. And I'm sharing this, transparently, because I know that other people feel things and then they don't
question why
they don't go through their feelings. You don't question it. You don't try to figure out what's the root of it. You don't try to get to a plunge wasn't gonna get this out. This wasn't in no plunge.
No, no, I agree. But what I think tend to happens is, like you'll feel it and then you'll say, okay, that just ain't it, versus trying to understand why you're saying why you're feeling like this isn't it.
Or what is the enemy trying to plant, you know what I'm saying,
exactly.
in this particular situation.
Not saying that it's not for you. It's just, how do you get it, right? Like, how do you, what mechanism or what mode or lever do you pull? And if it's one that you can pull, then are you the one supposed to do it?
Yeah.
That type thing, right?
Yeah. So I finally get to my I said I'm seeing that I'm unconsciously letting my faith fade to the back in this situation or any situations when I see toil.
Okay.
So I was not looking at that house in faith. I was looking at the house in toil.
So now what do you think you do to combat that? You know what I'm saying? To make sure that your faith doesn't fade to the back when you see something that inspires you to go.
What it does, first of all, I can answer that question, but that wasn't my 5th why.
Okay, go ahead.
I was then discovering, and then I circled back and I said, maybe that's my 5th why. And then I was like, no, that wasn't it.
Okay.
I said, here is my 5th why. I said, I just realized that I like who I've become since I've stopped toiling. I said, and when I saw the house, I felt like the only way I could get it was to return to who I was.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
To get it.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to do that, not to get that house.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not worth that.
But I said the house really represented an elevated level. It wasn't about the house. It was about, hey, you're about to do some next level stuff. And then I was almost hesitant to go to the next level because I was thinking in my mind, in order to get there, I was going to have to toil.
You're responsible for doing it.
And I said, it really wasn't the house. It was a representation of what I could have. And I immediately felt like I'd have to leave my new life, right? My new place of no toil in order for me to get there. And I didn't want to do that.
So this was just a representation.
So for me, if I hadn't went through those 5 whys, I would have just been like, man, this was a weird feeling.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know I ain't like it, but
I don't know why that just, you know what I'm saying? Why I felt like that. But me going through those steps helped me to see that, hey, you said you wanted to go next level. You said, you know, you wanted to do X, Y, and Z.
Right.
You also said that you wanted to go there, not by your might, but that you were going to trust God's plan for that.
Right.
And just in case you didn't know, that thing is still in there. So you say, what do you do, right, to get it out? Here's cheat code level, okay? I don't look at situations like that as a downer. Like, oh my God, I thought I was over that. I can't believe I had that feeling. I'm just such a loser. Yeah. Like, no way did I go down that road. I was like, thank you. I was super excited because one or two things could have happened in this situation. One, God could have been showing me something that I needed to see so that as I progress, I then can recognize it. Two, it could have been the enemy saying, yeah, got you.
You still in there. Yeah.
But here's how I look at it. If it was the enemy poking me in my side, I said, oh, that's how you try to trick me. Yeah. That's how you try to get me.
Now you want me to
you try to get me to focus on my plan instead of his plan. Because you know that I could put some stuff together to go over here, you know what I'm saying, and work hard to get everything that I want over here and make such and such multiply quickly, and boom, we got a thing. You know that I'll do that. Yeah. So you'll show me a thing and then hope that I would go by the sweat of my brow to get it. Yeah. Because then I'm distracted from all other things. Now I'm not working on being a better wife. Now I'm not working on being a better mom. Now I'm not trying to take care of my temple. I'm just going after the thing. Right. Right. So for me, I was like, thank you. I see you now. Yeah. I see you. You use these things to get me to go to toil.
And that ain't the place where you the most healthy.
That ain't the play. Yeah. And so I was like, what was happening was I was like, I would much rather stay where I'm at in the comfort zone. Yeah. Than to not go out there. Then God comes in and say, you don't have to stay. You just have to follow me.
You just got to give it over.
You just have to be wise in the plan that I've given you. Yeah. You know, and I was like, thank you, God. Dang, okay. This is a much better feeling because I was ready to stay on this level. Right. Be comfortable for as long as I needed to be comfortable because I was in my brain, how it got there or how I computed it, next level equals toil. Right. I ain't going.
And you knew that you could formulate, we could come up with the game plan. We could lay it out and get and put the wheels in motion.
Today.
Big wheels keep on turning. You know,
and I didn't want to do that. And I was like, man.
Because you know what it has come with, a lot of sleepless nights, a lot of, you know,
anxiety. Yeah, exactly. You know what I'm saying? Like all of these things that, you know, that would have happened had I went after, you know, this space in toil. Yeah. Oh man, it was beautiful for me because I'm now I receive revelation in that. I'm saying to the average person that'll get in a situation like that, it takes them in this spiraling dump. And they're like, oh my God, you know, I hate this feeling, or, you know, I don't want to go through this, or why I have to have these thoughts, instead of dissecting them so that you can get, you know, on the other side of it.
I really think that the 5 whys, like that if you can be honest and truthful with yourself, and I think that it's a hard exercise. But I really do think we give over a lot of power when we say, I don't know. Because now our bodies, like you said, it's just like, I don't know. And then that settles it. I don't know. You know, either you're afraid to say the answer. You know, you may not want to say it to yourself, or do you want to say it to, and share it to somebody else? You know what I mean?
Michelle says, so exposure brings clarity to unhealed areas. Absolutely. That is exactly, you know, what happens. The more you stretch yourself, you know, whether it's intentional or unintentional, you start to see what's in there that needs to come out, you know. And it, like I said, it wasn't that I hadn't, you know, looked at these houses before, but I think I had did that thing. You know, I was like, wait a minute, this is a nice house on a lake in Florida. I need that.
Why do you think that didn't happen when we looked at the Rolls Royce?
You know,
maybe because it was like right now, like I could do that tomorrow.
Yeah. I think that
like I can do that and not really have to sweat. But when you're talking about maybe like a $8-10 million house,
yeah,
like, hey.
I flipped out.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? I was like, I knew, hey, up the street around the corner, you can get that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of I did like whatever happened in my body, I wasn't ready for that response.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So now as I'm watching the video, I'm slow pacing through it. Like, what is happening to me? Why is this coming up? Who put this in there? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not afraid of anything.
No,
you know what I'm saying? Like,
not me.
I'm
not
like, who?
The official.
I felt like something had invaded my body that wasn't supposed to be there.
Okay.
But I think because I had been doing so much of the work, especially, with all of the studying on faith and stuff like that, the thing that, that came up where I eventually identified it as, my issue with toiling, I wouldn't have identified that before if I hadn't been, studying and doing the work. It's just been like, all right, bet we can get that. And I wouldn't have had the feeling in my chest. That feeling told me that my body had been recalibrating and it didn't like going back to that space.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When you do the work, then that's when, pieces of, that's when you can start identifying, like Michelle said, like, oh, now more exposure is showing the places that I need to do more work in.
Look at, yeah.
Yeah. And for me, that's what I was getting in that moment. Like, hey, by the way, you've done all this soul work.
Yeah.
You like who you're becoming inside of this journey. And you don't want to go back there. Let me remind you that you don't. That feeling wasn't to scare me.
Yeah.
It was to help me to identify that I didn't want to go back to that place that, my imagination was trying to take me to.
And I think that, what you said, man, the only thing I could keep thinking of is how many times somebody went down that road because they pride, right? They say, this is what I'm going to do, such and such, may be looking and they think that I can't do it and I'm going to do it. But it costs you so much peace. Mm-hmm. It costs you so much that is from an intrinsic standpoint, and it starts to come more to a external standpoint as well, where it's costing you more than just money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's costing a lot, and it's costing you time. But a lot of times, you may get caught up in that snare the enemy, so to speak, to be like, oh no, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this. And then when you don't, or if it come with the penalty because you did it the wrong way, now you think it ain't for you, or that it's evil.
Yeah.
When in all actuality, you may have just went
brought
about
that sorrow on yourself.
Yeah, you just may have went about getting it the wrong way.
No, I appreciated for myself, because I'm in this situation. I'm rescuing me from me.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah, I'm rescuing me from me, and that's when you know that you're really doing the work, right? Like, I could have in that moment not shared that with anybody because it's my chest. I can't. Lemoyne wouldn't know that my chest was burning unless I had to, had some kind of reaction where he'd have to assist. But I didn't have to tell anybody that I was experiencing this,
right?
But I chose to say I need help right now. I'm not sure what's happening, but I need help. Like, I don't want this feeling to stay here. I don't know why it's here, but it doesn't belong here.
Yeah,
right.
I don't like it.
No. And so as I'm messaging, Sean back and forth, I'm doing my work.
Yeah.
Right. And it doesn't matter what your situation is, like why, maybe you're in an uncomfortable situation, or, you're trying to grow and you feel like there are blockers, and then you think that you're supposed to navigate through that, on the solo or without any tools or whatever, or you abandon the tools that you know to do,
right?
But
because you had faith, you know what I'm saying, for other stuff. You had faith, but then you went directly till you see it, and you're like, oh yeah, I can do that, and maybe you can.
But look at what I recognize. My default mechanism was faith fade to the black,
right?
Because
and you were honest with yourself about it.
100%.
You didn't try to come up with other situations where you're like, no, I put my faith out there on that. I did. I did this with faith. I did that with faith. I wouldn't put my faith to the back. You were honest with yourself to say,
as we all should be. Like, that's how you're always growing and becoming.
Yeah.
When you have moments of, quote unquote weakness, or you're growing and you're trying to figure it out, that you're honest about what it is that you're feeling in the moment, and then having a good support system that
that you can call on
will help you walk through. Now, you just imagine if I was having that and I didn't have nobody in my circle that could even, you know what I'm saying, help me walk through.
Remotely.
Now, I could have 5Y. Like, that's the beauty of the 5Y exercise is you can actually do it to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You can say, well, you can ask your question. Well, why did you have that reaction? And then you give yourself an answer and then you ask again.
But you don't give yourself no flunky answer just to be
it's
like writing your own paper. Yeah, you got it. That's what I'm saying. Don't you can't just go through the motion with it and write something down or say something and it's really not truly what you are.
But I knew that I wasn't going to sleep last night until I got to the end of that. And that's the level of commitment that I have for my own personal growth and journey. But again, I knew that I was in this space that I've enjoyed being in, right? I've enjoyed connecting, with my daughters better and, connecting with you better and, just overall total life prosperity, right? Like, having my time with God and, studying the word and, taking care of my body in a different way and just, building genuine relationships with, people from all walks of life. And for me, all of that disappeared in a moment.
And
because I knew to go back to the way, you know what I'm saying, that I have quote unquote dominated before,
right,
would be toil. And that ain't the journey that I don't want that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's not the space that I want to be in. And I think it's amazing that I was able to recognize that, but also to work to shift through that and then continue to do the work, right? Because it's not like it's over with. It's like, oh, I'd be foolish to think that that's the end of the road.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? This is the beginning of the journey. Because again, if my default mechanism, for the last 8-9 years has been to do that, I'd have to deprogram.
Exactly.
I've only been deprogramming for 6-7 months. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be foolish and have the expectation that overnight it'll happen, but I can say now that I'm going to be intentional about recognizing, about recognizing what happens in the process of that.
Because that doesn't mean just because you see it doesn't mean, okay, I'm not going there. I'm going there, but am I going to choose the 10 miles of dirt road to go down it? Right? Walking barefoot in the Mississippi sun or something? Or am I going to, take this route that I don't necessarily, that I need to be guided or led through?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like allow, God to lead me through this and to give me the intuition as to how I'm gonna get there. I'm still going, but how? What mode of transportation am I going to take?
Yeah. I'd much rather take the way he says go.
I understand. But a lot of times we see a way.
Yeah.
We see a way.
And we just go. We don't ask no questions.
That's it. Oh, God showed it to me. I'm gone. It's out. You know what I'm saying?
Nah.
And yeah.
I want to go the route, that he has specifically ordained for me to go. And then I want to continue to do the work. Like, I want to be intentional about it. So as soon as I felt, this tightness lifting from my chest, as I've, identified like what it is, the very next thing I say to you is, oh, we're going to do this every night. So I don't feel this no more.
Yeah.
We're going to watch at least one of these videos every night. I mean, the last one we ended up watching was like a $20 million mansion or something like that.
Yeah, in Texas or something. It was, it was massive.
Yeah,
man.
it had like the 4-car garage plus a 5-car garage.
38-foot ceilings. And, it was bananas. The kitchen behind the kitchen.
Yeah.
The refrigerator, you don't even know, like where
the refrigerator looked like it was inside of the wall.
It was a button that you pushed. It was a walk-in refrigerator.
To get in the refrigerator.
A walk-in refrigerator. Now, I was thinking about it. I was like, I don't know if I'm too keen on a walk-in refrigerator. Somebody taking their shoes in the refrigerator.
I know.
I was thinking about that. But, it's like, man, I don't really want no,
But I'm committed to watching, something of that caliber, right? Like every night before we go to bed until I don't feel it.
Yeah.
Right. Because I don't want my body to think that it can control me that way.
Yeah.
Like, no.
And I don't know that you continue to have that feeling because I think you've identified what caused it.
Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep going in there to find out.
You go test it.
I'm not. Yeah. Because then, I want to be able to train, I want to be able to train myself in such a way that if it's not me looking at a house, it could be a business opportunity. You know what I'm saying? It could be, a new collaboration or friendship or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to identify when I'm trying to show up and when I'm allowing the God in me to show up. Right. Like, I need to make sure that I know the difference between the two. The only way I can do that at this point is get practices at bat. I can't think that I just became a master of it because I did the 5 whys through this one, one time.
I might have thought that.
No,
like,
I'm glad you brought it up.
It worked.
No, because hey, I was able to lift it then, but now how can I continue to expose myself in different situations and see, does this show up?
Man, now that's different. Because most people don't want to expose themselves.
Well, that's why we're here on a lovely Thursday night, sharing how that works. You know what I'm saying? It's an intentional process,
right?
But we talk about soul shifts all the time. But I love how Sean explained to me soul shifts the other day in a way that I hadn't heard her say it, like, not to me before, but she was just like, soul shifts is like an apartment building, right? Like, and there's obviously many apartments in an apartment building. So you may shift in one area, but because you hadn't destroyed the entire apartment building, there's still other compartments.
Still got other units that need work.
That gotta have work until you get all of that stuff out, or at least destroy the entire complex. There's work to do. So I can't say that just because I was able to identify by us looking at multi-million-dollar mansions, that doesn't mean that same thing isn't looking for me somewhere else. Because we always know where the enemy is poking you at or at least what my belief is, where he pokes you at is in your area of greatness. Right? Like, this is an area where you have potential to excel, and he don't want you to get there. So let me make your brain foggy here. Right? Like, let me make you not do this thing here. We talked about on the podcast. I'm not
saying that it's not good, but it's just the fact that if I poke you here, I know you finna go to your own sweat. I know you got to go in here. I gotta
distract you in this particular area because I don't want you to succeed here.
Yeah.
What good would it do the enemy for me to get a 8,000 square foot, $9 million mansion with no toil? Tell me how would it benefit him?
It would,
especially when I do it, and then I say I give all glory to God. I did this.
First,
like I saw in the chat, it was a sweatless victory.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think it would benefit him at all for us to now elevate to another space? Right, and then say, oh, by the way, this time I did it by God's grace. This time I did it, and I was following God's plan the entire way. You think that donkey want that? He don't.
No.
So then he got to poke me in such a way that I'm either afraid to go, or I just or
you want to go on your own
or
account.
I go on. Yes. You gotta know that kind of stuff. But you can't just think that just because you've now seen that you don't, you know what I'm saying, you don't do anything. No,
you got it. You good.
That's almost like, taking your first test. If you just start school and it's August and you take your first test the first week of September, you like, oh yeah, bet I ain't coming back to May. Graduate me, please. Graduate me.
I passed
because I passed this first test. I'm talking about like, don't call me back up here to May.
Yeah,
I'm done. No, that would be arrogant of me to think that was it. It's like, no, now I need to practice that. Or you go on the basketball court, you shoot just randomly. You shoot a shot, it go in. You like, yeah, bet. Put me in MVP, bro. MVP me, man.
No more.
MVP me. Matter of fact, I'm on the starting 5. You heard me?
Right quick.
You can't do that.
Don't hang my jersey up.
You got to go back out there and see if that shot was a fluke.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Can he get me somewhere else?
Yeah.
I'm committed.
Feel it all the way through. Feel it. What does it feel like in your feet? What does it feel like in your hand? What does it feel like in your chest when you made the movement that did make it right? Can I do it consistently? Can I identify?
Yes. Can I see this in every situation? And it's not like I'm saying I'm suited up and ready to go out here in war, but I am saying I want to make sure that as I grow, that I'm also growing in wisdom. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to figure these pieces out. It's like, hey, God, what is it that you want me to see out of this? What am I supposed to gather? What do I take with me here? Are there any other areas, that I need to identify? And I want to do it because I want to normalize it. You know what I'm saying? In my eyesight. And so I was like, well, maybe I haven't looked at enough multi-million-dollar mansions on the lake. Maybe you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Maybe I need to, expose myself a little bit more, even though I felt like I was already doing that. I was like, oh, well, next level is going to require some next level exposure.
And that may be why, that scripture in the Bible says, be anxious for nothing, but in all things, prayer and supplication. I think that's the S word, but yeah, no, I mean, I think about that, because it's like, man, we get impatient, and we like, hey, I know I can do this. It's almost like, when you are, if you've ever trained anybody, like to do a job, or you ask your kids to wash dishes or something like that, instead of letting them, wash, you like, man, get out of the way. I might as well do this myself. I know I can do it, but is it better served if they do it?
They gotta learn.
Yeah, they gotta learn. You know what I mean? Like, so, hey, yeah, I need to learn to continue to build that faith up, right? Or to be able to identify.
You can't walk away from that work.
Jonathan McReynolds, didn't I conquer this last year? You got me going in cycles type deal.
Yeah, because you don't go back and and get more practice.
Yeah. You got to get the at bats, and that's. I mean, yeah, I think that's phenomenal. That to be able to just identify it like that,
But that's the part I think that then people think that, oh, you must be a superhero, right? Yeah. But that's not it. It's just
it took some practice to start doing that.
I am willing to go back in. I'm willing to go back in every single time and practice and practice and practice until this is not an issue for me. So then, me doing something normal multiple times makes me look super.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow.
But that's why it looks that way, because everybody has the opportunity to do something normal.
Yeah.
But that level of normalcy really gets you closer and closer and closer to expertise, right? Because I'm going over this, over and over and over.
That
like
free throw just look normal. It's just a free throw. It ain't a freakish shot. It ain't a behind the back.
It's just a free throw.
It's a free throw.
But the reason why most people aren't, moving past similar situations is because, you see it, either you're gonna run from it, or you're gonna do something about it.
Yeah.
And if you're gonna do something about it, let's consistently do something about it, because we can't conquer any one thing by doing it one time. So for me, I think that's probably the best way that I can vocalize this thing here, is that you got to get to the point where you have the ability to do a normal thing, right, over and over and over and over again, until now you get into the space of sweatless victories. But you can't just have an expectation that just because I saw this happened to me last night, I've identified what the thing is. Now I walk around like, what I'm saying, I have won World War III.
Is that foolish or is that foolish? Yeah.
I'm like, no, this is an indication that there's a thing there. It's not, the end all be all. It's an indication that something is there. Now let's do the work to make sure that we dig it all up. Let's do the work to make sure that doesn't come back.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense, man. I mean, that makes sense. But just being able to unpack it just from the 5 whys, just from the 5 whys, and being able to identify, man, I'm feeling something. And here's, why am I feeling that? Like legit, why am I feeling it? But I think a lot of people consider that to be, like after the fact, they'll be like, nah, that ain't for me. And they consider it evil or you know what I'm saying?
The house, because I had a tightness in my chest.
Yeah, because they may say, well, that ain't for me. I don't want to go that way.
Well, I would say
I don't want to go that way. I don't want to get it the way that I developed to get it.
Yeah.
When that's the reality of it, I am troubled by my thoughts of how I would have to obtain it.
Yeah, because there's 2 things at play, because I ain't, I'm not ignorant of the fact of what the word says, right? Yeah. So I knew that when I was having a physical reaction, that something was there that shouldn't be there. Because if I'm looking at a space that is, an abundant space, right? I'm looking at, this amazing house, but the word that comes to mind is abundance, right? If Jesus died on the cross specifically for us to have a life more abundantly, and then I have a reaction towards abundance, that's a problem.
Say that again. Somebody put abundance in the chat. Y'all put abundance in the chat. Say that one more time.
I immediately understood at that particular point, my body had a negative reaction towards abundance. I knew that something wasn't right. So now I'm trying to get to it. So even though, I use the description of, hey, maybe my faith is fading to the black here. I still got enough word in me, right, to know that something is wrong.
Yeah.
And maybe, just maybe, that's some of the parts and pieces that stop other people from going any further.
Yeah.
Like, I am intentionally pouring in a whole bunch of words.
Yeah.
And so because of that, there's no way I can stop this process. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that I can just take that one incident and then just sit it to the side. No, this makes me study faith now where I thought I was going to study it for maybe a month or two. Oh, no, let's hit 6 months then.
Let me level up on that.
We're gonna do 6 months because you tried to trigger me. you matter of fact, let's do faith and abundance.
Yeah.
Because you tried to trigger me. And I have the audacity to believe the word. So now that you done messed with me in this particular area, we're gonna combine faith and abundance, and we're gonna study it for 6 months. Because you're telling me that I don't have enough word in that area to where I won't have this feeling.
So instead of toiling to get the thing, you're toiling to get the word. You're toiling to now. You're studying, laboring.
I'm
in the word.
not toiling.
You're laboring in the word.
But I will most definitely stay in the word.
Okay.
Until that feeling don't come.
Yeah.
To me, that's simple.
That's seeking ye first.
To me, it's just that simple. When we have those types of responses to anything, oh, I can't get that job.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't open that business. Oh, I don't. What did she say?
The awe and the audacity.
I do have the awe and the audacity. You know what I'm saying? Karen always had her. She does the greatest job on play on words, baby.
Oh, man, I like that.
So I'm saying, for me, that thing was a clear indicator that I'm not finna sit there and say because I had that feeling the Lord don't want me to have that.
I like the way you define that though. When you're like, hey, he promised us abundance. He said,
so why would you look at a higher, a higher paying job, you know what I'm saying, as something that you can't have?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's why would you look for, you know what I'm saying, any level of advancement? You know what I'm saying? Why would you look at it as something that you can't have?
But you can't cheat your way to it and say that God wanted me to have it.
No, nor do I want to toil my way to it because I'm still applying the word saying, no, he said without sorrow.
Yeah.
But I think that, not no jab at you, but how
it ain't a jab.
It's not. But how sometimes, you be using the scriptures for how you want to use the scriptures. Don't let your right hand know what your left hand doing and whatnot.
Well, I think that's how I was just repeating it, but yeah.
I think that's how a lot of people try to use the word selectively.
Well, yeah, of course. Yeah.
I want to use it collectively, not selectively. You know what I'm saying? So
somebody say collectively.
So for me, I was saying some of these pieces and parts saying I'm trying to put these together. And right now my puzzle pieces ain't working because my chest is burning. So that's the thought process that I had about it. No, you said I could have abundance, and you said it had to be without sorrow. So I know that me saying, or feeling something like, oh, I don't want it because it looked like toil.
Yeah.
I know that ain't you. That's not you.
Yeah.
So where did this thought come from? And how do I get away from it? But studying more of the word. We got to add the abundance, study on this piece, because I need to access that a little bit
faith
more.
And abundance.
Man, we got to.
No, that's
we do have to rightly divide the word.
Rightly divide, yeah.
Yes.
So that we can be multiplied. Y'all like that, didn't you?
I did not. Did not at all.
Hey. That's it though. I mean, but I think that's what happens. A lot of times we just get caught up in the how can I do it? How can I get it? And then we stop listening to our body or our spirit, our soul that didn't really agree with. We may just count it as something else. I don't know, but we don't give it the rightful framework or the rightful definition, and then that way we don't at that point we don't prescribe ourselves the right medication or the right prescription. You know what I mean? Which in this case is, hey, now I'm doubling down on faith and abundance.
Yeah, I mean, we all have work to do.
Of course.
The goal and objective here is when the enemy shows you something, don't run from your work. Like you have to use him for the fool that he is, right? Like if his job is to kill, steal, and destroy, then all you have to do is look at the areas of which he tries to kill, steal, and destroy, and turn those into your focal points.
Yeah.
not run from them. You know what I'm saying?
That requires a level of exposure.
Right. But he is highlighting to you, hey, here are your areas of weakness. Here's your areas of, limited belief. Here are your areas that are missing faith. Here are the levels of areas of which I am trying my best to destroy you.
Yeah.
If you use that, instead of running from it, then it's to your advantage. I look at it as this little imp is working for me.
Exposed.
You working for me. So anytime you show up, then you have just given me yet another. You talk about Zelda, when you can put in the little things or whatever you get, the little cheat codes. You got to look at the enemy as, hey, you are the cheat code for my situation. You keep showing up over here. I know why you here, right? Because you're saying that this is an area of which I am most vulnerable. Well, let me build walls around this with the word.
Let me do the work.
Let me build the walls around it with the word. I know how to work on that. I know how to fix that.
Yeah.
That's how you have to look at those types of situations. I could have literally faded to the black last night.
Yeah.
But I chose to get bigger in the word.
Or you could have made an excuse and be like, you know what? I live in a decent house now.
I'm
you know
straight.
What I mean? Yeah.
God is good.
Yeah, exactly.
All the time.
He loves me. You know what I'm saying? He's blessed me thus far. You know what I'm saying? But it's still the level of spiritual exposure. Yeah. Because it wasn't just a physical item. It caused a spiritual reaction.
Man, I am reading this book on faith.
No, I'm not. No,
and the man, don't make me lose my thought here.
You're reading this book on faith,
Lord. Yeah, and one of the scriptures that I focused on, I think it was this week. It was talking about how we always. One of the scriptures said that we always triumph. Basically, like we always have victory. Mm-hmm. And in the book, it was basically saying like the only way for you to have a victory over something is that you actually have to go through a thing. Mm-hmm. Like you can't just, you don't wake up and be like, yes, victory.
Yeah.
What exactly?
You got to play the game.
Yeah. And so it really made me think like, not that all the time we have to go through a thing,
right?
But basically the scripture was saying that we are in a perpetual path to victory. Like, so we go from victory to victory to victory to victory. Like that's how, God has set this thing up for us. Right. But in between victories, if there is any type of obstacle or wall or turmoil, then we decide that we want to retreat, not knowing that we have been set up for victory to victory to victory. So if we're in a state of perpetual victory, why would I stop at my chest being burning? Why would I not continue down the path to see what is that?
Yeah.
Because I'm on my way to perpetual victory.
I know I'm on my way to glory to glory.
Because my first thought was, I see myself in that house on the lake. I see myself overseeing this lake. So I needed to keep going through this chest burning situation to figure out what's on the other side of that to get me to my perpetual victory.
Yeah.
So that I can then get to my next one.
But you know that's what the plan is.
So why would I now not show up every night? Because I need to get to the next victory. Yeah. Otherwise, what happened last night stops me in the process because I'm not willing to keep going through that. For me.
Wow. Okay. And then then you never have a source of discovery. Mm-mm. You just know that you have a feeling, but you don't understand why. And then it doesn't even allow you to move better in your purpose because the very thing that was put exposed so that you can continue to level that victory or level up with those victories. Now you just like, hey, I'm gonna sit to the side because I don't quite understand this one. I don't think I'm supposed to go this way.
No, it's not. It's an indicator of an area that we need to do more work. And that's what I love about a journey, like this of just being intentional, about identifying who it is, that I was created to be, who I am in Christ. Like all of those things matter, but if I'm doing that level of study and I let something, as seemingly insignificant as a chest burn.
Yeah. Watching a nice house on the TV that's not even, you ain't even got a mortgage for, you ain't even got a bill for nothing. I'm talking about just.
But you just think about that. If I just let that just blow in the wind,
yeah.
Right. The enemy's like, oh, I got her.
Yeah.
I got her stuck.
Yep. Because now you just like, I'm cool. I'm where I'm at.
Shonda said she needs to pay more attention to, how her body responds to things. But you think about it, when you're in an uncomfortable situation, and it could be situations from, like let's say like childhood trauma, or it could be something you went through at work, or whatever. Like it could be just this random situation, and you get somewhere, like even like road rage, like you at a red light and it won't hurry up and turn red, and your chest started to get hot.
Yeah,
you might need to do some work.
Yeah,
like, but we don't pay attention, to like what our body does in certain situations. And I've talked about it before, like how it being in high stress, like situations, like for long periods of time, something your body, like you said, your body does keep score.
Yeah.
But eventually, those high states of stress can then become homeostasis for you if you don't recognize it, right?
Okay.
So I had gotten out of like high stress mode all the time, like, oh, I gotta do this, gotta do this, right? I done come out of that, and now I'm at like this, hey, whatever it is that you want me to do, Lord.
Yes, Lord.
And that thing tried to enter back in, and it said, you don't belong here.
Yeah.
I had, created a new level for me. Sometimes people can't even recognize that they have that thing going on, because stress level is homeostasis for them.
Yeah.
They're not even recognizing when their chest is burning, because that's all you do.
That's their baseline.
That's your baseline. Sometimes you got to come out of those situations to even get to the point where you can recognize that your body is having a response.
Yeah.
It's the truth.
You do, because we was talking with a guy. We went. I forgot where we was at, but he had this device that was in his arm, and it does. It administered the insulin or something to him or whatever. And he was like, man, I was just walking around. I thought just walking around being dizzy and stuff like that was normal.
Like normal.
You know what I'm saying? Like I just thought that was normal. I just always felt like I was this. Or what was all side effects of him being a diabetic, or a pretty severe diabetic. But he was functional. He'd go to work like that. And he was just like, man, I just thought it was normal. And then I go, to the doctor. And they're like, man, your stuff is off the chart. Like, what's up? He then gets on the medication or whatever. And he like, man, I felt like a brand new person, because I've been going around for years just feeling like, just like this, which was, bad, but also at the same time.
That was his homeostasis.
Yeah, that was his homeostasis. He was just,
hey.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, but I never thought about that. So sometimes when you in chaotic situations, or when you in high stress situations,
all the time,
it may not, that ain't everybody's normal. You know what I mean? It is not your normal, so you may, to be able to see it, step out of it, or do the work to step out of it. Or when the work starts to happen, it ain't that everybody is abnormal or superheroes. It just may be normal. That just may be
that ain't gonna be my norm.
No, well, I'm just saying, being out of that is normal. You know what I'm saying? But somebody may be in it and think, like, oh,
that's just what everybody does.
So then they look at everybody that is out of it and think that they're just special. And it's like, no, they're normal. You're the one that is, a little special.
No. Well, anyway, I just I'm glad we were able to kind of, share those pieces. I would hope that, more people would try to pay attention to, and recognize like when your body responds to different things, and, then start asking yourself, why is my body responding this way?
Yeah.
Like, why,
and be honest with yourself. Because I really feel like that some people, I feel like I have answered myself in ways that's probably not honest, especially in the past. You know what I'm saying? Just to make myself feel better.
Uncomfortable conversations.
Exactly. Or just to think about it, the way I started the conversation, if I fail at something and then I say, well, dang, well, why? What happened? I could always go back to, well, I did succeed in this, or, I do still have a championship or a record that's been held for 22 years, to try to make myself feel better, versus sitting in the truth of who I am and where I am right now. Who I am and where I am right now, and not basing it on what somebody else has to say, but I can base it on strictly what the word has to say, and what allow my truth to be exposed, so that I can use the word as a mirror to clean that stuff up. You know what I mean?
I just think about how many times, even before like doing this level of work, that we have had signs and, and signals that something is not right.
Right.
and we have still pressed forward in that direction.
Absolutely.
You know, instead of paying attention to the warning sign that we, you know, received.
We'll label it as something else.
Yeah, and I'm conscious enough now, you know, not to do that.
Yeah.
But, you know, I guess in having the conversation, it's important for more people to, you know, to have that level of consciousness about themselves. I think it becomes a lot easier to recognize when you are doing the internal soul work, you know, and not just focusing on all of the things that are happening around you. Like I could easily say, you know, I could change my attention to focus on more on business stuff or, you know, whatever. Like, but my goal is to make sure that I'm completely whole so that everything else that I do can flourish, you know, and prosper the way that God intended it to be, because I'm coming into the space the way that he intended me to be.
Yeah.
And that gets you a completely different result.
Because you're coming into the space the way he intended you to be.
100%. And I knew
not just being in the space. Being in the space isn't good enough.
I ain't want that house in the toil.
Being in the space ain't good enough.
I did not want the space in the toil.
Being in the space the way God wants you to be. Because then you can be an accurate representation and be as,
and it'll come without sorrow.
Without that wow.
Yeah. I mean, that was big for me. You know, I'm glad that it happened for whatever, you know, or why ever it needed to happen. I don't know. I just know I'm glad that thing happened, and I was elated, you know, once I went through all of those 5 whys and, you know, got myself to a space, you know, where I was then back calm. But I was like, you know, after the fact, like, you don't have to do that.
No, you don't.
You don't. You know, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? To trust God.
100%. And that can become the normal situation, just like being in a high stress situation. You could know that could be your first reaction. Just like what Brandon was saying, the inability to acknowledge being in a wrong space breeds a conditional mindset, which becomes the norm. You know what I mean? On the other side of that, I think if we condition ourselves to depend on that faith or to lean to that first, which again, you have to condition yourself just the way you shoot a free throw. You know, you have to continue to do that time and time again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the part, but you do have a lot of one-shot heroes out here, and I may be one of them. You know what I mean?
You just want to shoot the shot one time.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
When it go in, you're like, yep, that worked.
Think about it. I feel like I had a poor mindset at one point for sure, because just like when we got off the that time I did the 500 pounds, and then you was like from the couch to the whatever to the rack.
I remember
or
that.
whatever, and that I was satisfied with that.
Yeah,
because I did it one time.
You should have asked yourself the 5 whys. Why were you satisfied with that?
Because probably I thought I had not succeeded in some other things, and that was just a moment of success.
But why?
Why was it a moment of success?
It's just your second why.
I'm asking. Oh, but why? Probably because I needed some validation.
But why do you need to be validated?
Because I felt less than without it.
And why do you feel less than?
Because that was a sense of currency for me.
Do you feel anything in your body right now?
My forehead's sweating. Okay. My palms are sweating.
What was your last?
Knees weak, arms are heavy. It's vomit on his sweater already.
What was your last why answer?
Because I felt like it was a sense of currency. Like I felt like that's how people or you brung value or appreciation for being in someone's circle if they validated you, or if you were able to be validated by them. Like that's how you brung, you know.
But why was that important to you? Number 4.
I guess because it made me feel good. I almost wanted to say I don't know, but yeah, I guess, you know, it made me
so
feel
why
good.
did you need that to make you feel good?
I don't know if I needed that. I needed some form of validation. And that was just something that I could get validated in without having to work hard, because I could naturally do it without with you know, I was just naturally strong. You know, and I think about it, when I originally I said it the other day when we was doing the podcast for the parenting one. And I said, I wanted to be a U.S. Marshal, a federal police officer. One, because they go through the academy one time and they get respect for the rest of their life. Or a Mississippi Highway Patrolman.
So are you looking for the shortest distance to validation?
Yeah, that was yeah. I would assume so, but maybe not necessarily thinking the shortest distance, just maybe what's the easiest route. Right? I'm trying to map it out in my mind, to say, okay, well, yeah, you know what? I can get some respect because I can do 500 pounds. And I'm going to tell you I can do 500 pounds. You ain't going to believe I can do 500 pounds because I ain't done no working out in a minute. And then when I do it, then I can say, bam, and go sit on the throne and just be like, respect me now because I can do 500 pounds. I can run the 40 still, that type thing.
Okay.
So I had a stellar year last year. Well, what did you do this year? You know what I mean? From a company perspective,
So do you feel like you got to the root of your answer on the 5 whys?
Yeah.
What is your answer?
As to why I felt like I needed the validation.
So what do you feel like your end all, like how my end all answer? I gave that in the hotness.
Is that I was essentially that looking for not wanting to do all of the work.
So you feel like your thing is wanting to find the easy way out,
right, and not wanting to do all the work was.
But what do you feel like the root of that is? Because that may be your actual 5 why. Is why do you look for the easy route out?
Because I've seen people win superficially though. Right. I've seen what I considered to be or perceived to be a win for someone because they were financially secure or because everybody respected them or something like that. When in all actuality, they may be like a real sucker in their real life, like their personal life, like their internal being. They could be troubled and dealing with a whole bunch of trauma and turmoil to obtain that or to maintain it, when in all actuality, it just, in my perception, that seemed like success. And they may have cut a corner to do it, or they may have, they may get a certain level of respect, but at the same time, it's not withstand. It's not going to withstand or sustained. But at the same time, knowing as my spiritual walk grows, it's like, hey, the most important things are the things that people don't see. You know what I'm saying? The internal working, right? So why am I trying to be validated in this moment? You know what I'm saying? When really I should be trying to be sustained throughout life.
So more so looking for God's way versus Lemoyne's way.
Yeah, or looking, I would say that, but also not looking for validation in the way of the world.
But being validated by what he said you are.
Exactly.
Think you got to the bottom.
Yeah.
You see how useful the 5 whys is?
Yeah, that seemed like about 20 whys though. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, what happens is
like about 20 of them. I ain't lying.
What really happens is by the 5th why you are desensitized, and then you start to tell the truth. It's not that we don't want to tell the truth, but it's because we have fed ourselves so many lies. We have to ask the question of why so many times to then get to the layer of truth that is beneath.
Yeah.
And then when we get there, we can then start to get to the root of the problem. So if you only ask 2 whys, then I can just give you 2-3 lies and we can go on about our way. But if we keep asking the question and the person is willing to participate, what happens is you start to get to the layers that are under there. Notice you didn't bring up the fact that I asked you more questions until after we got to the answer.
Well, I was just, I'm saying, I was really focusing trying not to, my hands about to leave a print on this.
But your body is having the response, right?
Yeah.
And most people don't do that level of work.
And I'm talking to you.
And you're talking, well, technically we have a live studio audience, okay? But I'm saying you went through the questions, right, to get to the root of the problem. That's a part of the work. But once you have now identified, oh, this is why, I work so hard to get towards validation.
Yeah.
Now in other situations when it come up, it's your job to not ignore it.
Yeah.
Right? Or whatever the external feelings that you were feeling in that moment, those are the things that'll still show up in other situations where you say, oh, hold on, I got a little extra sweat happening here. What's going on? Right. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I realize
this making me nervous.
You know what I'm saying? Like I got this little, what is happening? Right. Yeah. And then you can go back to that same situation and say, oh, this one of them things.
Yeah.
Am I searching for validation in this situation?
And
why?
Then be able to, right.
And then you can then find why yourself, because it doesn't have to be, where there's a whole group of people involved.
Yeah.
We then get to do, because now that I've, identified what my situation is, when I go back to one of those moments, I can say, okay, so what is it now?
Yeah.
What are you experiencing in this moment? Right. Like that's the real work when we don't run away from ourselves.
Yeah.
Because who else is in our head but us? You know what I'm saying? So when we're trying to, navigate through some of these situations in the future and we're solo, we can decide that this never happened.
Yeah.
I can decide it never happened. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
But
I just wired myself on.
But if I am true to who it is that I say that I am, and if I am really willing to go down this journey of always growing and becoming, then I have to show up when nobody is watching.
Absolutely.
I am not showing up because we're on the podcast. I'm showing up because in my mind, you're not watching. I'm showing up because this still is a part of my work.
Right.
Sharing transparently what took place. Sharing the parts of the journey that nobody else would get to see unless I chose to show it.
Yeah.
This is me showing up in this way, right? So we get to do that for ourselves every single day.
Yeah.
Or you get to hide.
Yeah.
Will nobody 100%.
Know?
I can't tell you that nobody will ever know, especially if you stay stuck in the spaces that you've always been in.
Yeah.
Right? If you constantly in the same loops over and over again, technically you're already exposed if you're not constantly elevating. So someone at some point would have recognized that Crystal got comfortable.
Yeah.
Because I would have still been here 5 years from now. But because I have exposed the thing that tried to stop me from going to the next level, I now get to go.
Yeah.
And so then 5 years from now, when it looks differently, I did the work.
100%.
There's also clear indicators when people don't do the work.
Right. And that's what Brandon was saying just now, like cutting corners. And he brought up an example of cheating in high school or, cheating on tests. And I promise, man, I can echo that myself. I went to junior college after high school and it was kind of, easy. But then when I went to my 4-year school, man, they didn't really care about sports. You had to be on that academic tip, man. If you know what I'm saying, the guys around you, they like, man, you ain't studying for the test. I'm like, bro, are you studying? You gonna let me cheat on your paper? I'll never forget. I asked one of my teammates, man, what's the answer to number 15? This dude leaned over and tried to explain to me how to do the problem during the test. And I was like, dang, Ty, you know what I'm saying? Just give me the answer, bro. But I appreciated him after the fact. You know what I mean? Because that made me really start taking all of that serious and really prove to myself that I could do it. And as I got my MBA and all that stuff, it became useful. But that's the deal when you cut corners.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But doing the work, you can sustain that.
Oh, AB had a question. I don't know. She said when you pinpoint it, when you pinpoint the deep thought, why? What next? Ask it a different way so we can see if we can answer the question.
I think she's saying when you get to that why, now what do you do? And I would say, in your example, now you put the framework of the word around it. You know what I'm saying? Like you identify, you get on Google, you talk to your pastor or something and find out, okay, what does the word say about me needing validation in this spot? You know what I'm saying?
Prepare for the next time.
Exactly.
That's how you're preparing.
Because, hey, my dad didn't validate me, so now I'm just looking for validation across the board in all the world. So now I need to understand what the Father in heaven says about me being validated. You know what I'm saying? And the love that he has for me versus the love that I'm looking for in all the wrong places or all of these spots that could be potential potholes down the line or something like that, right? Because you could be failed. That would be my thought, but I'll allow you to continue to expound on that.
I would say that's, like I said earlier when I was talking about, me having this heavy, feeling in my chest there, just like this crazy burning sensation. I then realized, okay, I've been working on, faith, but now, maybe I need to take a longer look at abundance. You know what I'm saying? Like, and pairing the two together, right? Like identifying, those areas, like put a spotlight on it and then study that more. But like I just said to you, while I'm studying it, I am also, preparing myself mentally that this will show up again. Right. Like an issue with validation is going to show up again with you.
Yeah.
And when it does, if you've already been studying, that's like, now we know, now first time it's a pop quiz, right? The next time, hey, you got a midterm coming up. Because like you got poked, right? So the midterm is coming up. Are you just going to act like it's not? And then when it gets there, you fail the test? Or are you now going to study and say, what does the word say about me so that I don't need to be validated by man, but that I receive what God says about me? So when this poke comes, I can pass the test, right?
I'm not going to get emotionally charged. I'm not going to get down depressed or charge somebody with, man, he play a hate. You know what I'm saying? He hating, he did, what I'm saying?
You gotta you gotta stay focused. You know what I'm saying? Stay focused. So that would be my deal. You know what I'm saying? That's
people
how
even still say player hate.
I don't know, Lamont. I'm not there.
All right. Yeah. I like the way Yolanda said it, because usually the why exposes a lie. So what did it say? I can't see.
There you go.
Because usually the why exposes a lie. So you have to then plant the truth, which is the word. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because whatever you plant is going to grow, and it's apparent because you probably I have something there that wasn't planted by the word, and it's growing, or it has grown, or was growing. Now I done put some Roundup on it, and it is now being replaced.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely. I like the way you say that. Yeah. I like the way she said that.
Cool. Well, hey, I wasn't anticipating it going this way tonight, but it went.
Yeah.
It went. Yeah, I think
Greg gonna say that.
It was about, what's up, Kendrick? It was about 20.
It was, man. But
he said, how many people willing to look in the mirror that long? Listen, it's not easy, to do that.
No, it's not.
I commend Lamont for doing that in front of a live studio audience, but
in the Love and Business studio.
It's not an easy thing to do, but it's necessary. Right. If you're committed to, your spiritual growth, your, personal, professional, whatever you want to call it. Like if you're saying that I'm committed to growing and becoming every day, like, am I going to get that 1% better than I was yesterday? Right. Like, am I gonna, be on this, perpetual journey from victory to victory to victory, right? If we're committing to doing that, then asking yourself those questions is super important. Showing up for yourself is important. And for me, going through that is how I showed up for myself last night. But how I'm gonna continue to show up for myself is, before we go to sleep tonight, I'm gonna cast another one of those videos on there, and watching an amazing experience, and then see how my body responds to it, but those 5 whys, or the 20 whys, as Kendrick calls it, I think it's a great exercise. It's uncomfortable, but it is necessary, and I think that it helps. It just helps you to grow. Go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think it matters? I'm reflecting back on the conversation as you were talking, and it was like, but all of my whys were about me. I think I could have said, or somebody, you may ask somebody and be like, oh, because such and such did this to me, or because this and this happened. Do you think it's important?
Sometimes.
But do you think it's important to be reflective of why I feel that way? Not, because I can't control what somebody else did, but I can acknowledge how I feel as a result of it.
Yeah, but I can't tell a person, how to answer the 5 whys. Like whatever comes up, comes up.
Just let it come out. Okay.
Because everything needs to come out anyway. Especially if you have some fingers that you want to point towards other individuals. I'd love for that to come out first, so that we can get it back to you. Because there's nothing, once someone has done something to you, then the only responsibility you have is how you respond. And so in those types of situations, when a person wants to give everybody else the responsibility, it's like, no, it happened. Now what are you going to do about it? It's like, we can't change that it happened, but we can change how we're responding to it. So the 5 whys gets all of that out, which is why I said a lot of times even if it, you may not get to the root of the answer on the fifth one, but the individual that's going through it is at least more open to the process if they've gotten that deep into it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then sometimes you get to the golden answer by 3 or 4, but in most cases,
20. You had to get to 20. I thought I was pretty honest. They know that.
Where you were, but what, if you felt like by the third one, like, oh, I think that was it, then you stop. But I don't think that you felt that way.
I had another. I was like, okay, well, why did I feel that way? But yeah, you're right. I could, in my mind, I could see a layer. You know what I'm saying? And then another why, like, okay, well, that one is gone. Why? What? It didn't make you dig deep, but no, that's cool, man. That's that is, yeah. Yeah, AB, I might have to say it the way that my granddad or something would say it. I don't know.
Well, I'm super proud of you. I think you did some really good work tonight. I think we've both done some really good work over the last 2 days.
Yeah.
And just, just mentally processing through that. But that's a part of the work. Like, we call it love and business, but the idea here is that's what I told Brittany earlier today during our breakfast, and we can get out of here because it's late and our door keeps opening and I'm trying to figure out who's coming here. But I told her that oh Lord, bring my thought back. What did I say before that?
You and Brittany was having a conversation.
I know, and then before that I might have lost it.
I didn't interrupt you this time.
You didn't. The door chime keeps getting to me. It's gone. I don't know. It ain't in there no more. Maybe it's just time to go. It was a profound thought though. So if it comes back, maybe I had to put it in the chat. But anyway, we're gonna appreciate y'all for AB says say I remember.
Yeah,
you're right. I remember, and I might have to remember for next podcast.
Yeah, I'm with you, Kendra. Absolutely.
What he said?
Keep asking until you understand you are the reflection in the mirror.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
No. Oh, I said we call it love and business. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right. He was listening. I mean it, yeah.
But that's exactly what I wanted to say. So we call the podcast Love and Business, but what I love about the process is that we get to, this is the part, right, that makes all of the other stuff a success. Being able to do this level of work. Because maybe I'm in this thing where I'm hearing people's thoughts like, why do they call it, podcast Love and Business, but they talk about like these types of things, right? Like, because sometimes these
personal development.
Yeah, sometimes these types of subjects come up. And I think it's more important for people to know that working on the inner man is way more important than us working on P&L statements.
Yeah. It's gonna show up.
Because it's gonna show up in your P&L statements. Yeah. And so I just want people to know that even though that's the platform that we're on, right? Even though, that's what, we call this situation, it's really more important that this type of work is the focal point and not, the business part of it, being the focal point. Because at the end of the day, us doing this work makes us phenomenal business owners. It makes us phenomenal, partners in marriage and parents, when we're able to say, I'm going to go through the 5 why exercise and I'm gonna stick it out. Right. Or that I'm going to, and be honest, or that I'm going to transparently share, this intimate moment that I had with myself. Like those are the things that, make love and business a success. Not you seeing his name on the wall at Lemoyne Robinson State Farm, or, driving by and, you seeing us at the Meineke location and people blowing their horn, like that's not the thing. This is the thing.
Yeah.
And I just want more people to focus in on these things
100%.
Because that's what I said to Brittany. That's what thank you, Holy Spirit, for bringing it back. That most people want to focus in on, having the multi-million-dollar business. The truth of the matter is there's no class that I've taken. There's no, mastermind that we've paid tens of thousands of dollars for that taught me how to be the grand business owner that I am.
Right.
None of them did, to be honest.
Yeah.
All of the things that we took up until this point as it relates to like classes and, going to events and seminars and all of that stuff, all of those things were uncovering the layers that were on top of our greatness.
Exactly.
We were all created and born and, thought of to do the thing that we can innately do.
We all
Nobody can teach you the thing that you were born to do because you already got it.
Yeah.
But the job of the enemy in to kill, steal, and destroy is to pack on so many layers on top of the very thing that you were created to do, so you can't see it. It's not that we're operating in any, level of superpower. We're operating in purpose. But it looks to the rest of the world as if we're doing something special, but it's only because we've pulled back the layers, right? We've done the 5 whys on our life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. To get all of that stuff off to where now the greatness shines out. And you're thinking that's only for them.
Yeah.
It's just that you haven't peeled back the amount of layers that's on top of you.
100%.
To get to that space. And that's what I told her is like, everybody has this thing over here.
Mm-hmm.
It's been sitting there. It's been waiting for you to uncover it. But you got to be willing to do all of this work because the enemy's doing his job of stealing, killing, and destroying.
Absolutely.
He's doing his job of keeping you in this cycle, keeping you in this loop so that you never go straight.
Yeah.
And if we can recognize that, everything else becomes simple.
And I want to share one other thing. I totally agree with you. But when you were saying that, I told some guys in the inner circle the other day.
It's outer. Y'all are outer.
I mean the outer circle. I'm sorry.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I said, yeah.
It's the outer circle.
It's my, you're right. Told some guys in the outer circle the other day. We did a lot of yard work on Saturday. Me and Caitlin emptied the flower pots and stuff like that. So I was telling them that essentially, you were saying about, when you felt poked, by the devil, like, oh yeah, you working for me, right? We have one of the most essential parts of any type of, I got it right. I'm sorry, Karen. I'm sorry, B. We are the outer circle, 100%. I've seen it so many times in this in the chat. But we the outer circle. So I'm in the garden, and one of the primary components that you use when you're growing something is fertilizer, right? But most fertilizer is some type of crap
manure.
Manure. You know what I'm saying? It's some type of manure, whether it be chicken manure or cow manure or whatever. But if you just leave it where it is, then it's disgusting. You know what I'm saying? It is, it's just there. But if you mix it with the right components, right? If you do the right thing to it, it could blossom something beautiful, right?
Garden.
It can blossom some vegetables that you just like, oh my
beautiful
God,
roses.
this is it, right? So uncovering those yucky things, why, right? That's a cow patty there. You know what I'm saying? That's a chicken coop over there. You know what I'm saying? Like each why represents something that probably is not necessarily the most beautiful thing that you've seen. But because you uncovered it, now we can get to what really, the part that really matters and put it into something that is
you can get to the beautiful part
that we can bring the best of it. We can bring out the best of it because we understand that there's something in there that's useful.
Yeah.
But in the current state that it's in, it just looks like dung.
Hey,
that was it.
I like, man. That 5 why done got you out there, man.
It is, but the outer circle is where it's at. So guys, ladies, if your husband, if your spouse, your significant other, somebody you met on Tinder, whatever, if he was born a man, then he is welcome to the outer circle. Circle. Please, yes.
Well, the inner circle is officially closed, but the outer circle is open for business. So y'all drop off in there, man. This has been pretty cool. This has been a great night. This is a great conversation.
It was,
I appreciate you hanging in there with me.
Yeah. No, hey, well, look, thanks for joining us live. Our very own.
Yeah, thank y'all, man. Y'all hung with us tonight too. We was long. I'm talking about we was long like a Baptist church revival.
I ain't lying.
And y'all was in here. Amen. Amen. Yes.
Well, look, next Thursday we'll be on, I believe. But I think.
Did we check? We should have checked.
Well, we'll let y'all know. But
I think we should be here next Thursday. I don't think there's anything major on the calendar for next Thursday. So we'll be here next Thursday. Now I do have an exciting announcement.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Okay. This
closed.
This is our 15 close. I do have a recipe book coming out.
Oh yeah, that's right. How could I forget that?
Yeah. Well, the pre-orders are going to be coming soon. I can't release the date yet, but I might just do a teaser and drop the front cover of the book because it's super dope. But Beats by Crystal is coming soon. It's gonna be an amazing recipe book.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, I've been juicing beats for a good little bit now, and it's kind of turned into a whole situation. So yeah, I got some amazing recipes in there. Look at you. It's not just beet juice recipes. We got bring the beet in. We got some recipes where you can actually add some beets to your meals. And then we also have another section of Beyond the Beat. So it's some recipes in there. I post a lot of stuff that I cook, and folks started asking me for my recipes, and so I just started putting them together, and it ended up going into this book. So yeah, my white chicken chili is in there. Got some a really nice veggie omelet is in there, and these are all meatless recipes because you know your girl didn't stop eating meat in 2023. Praise the Lord, saints.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's some really, really exciting recipes in there. So shout out to Kitty for helping me to put my book together. Shout out to Shantae for doing a fire. I'm talking about a fire book cover and the edits on the inside of the book. So I have been waiting to put this out. So hopefully before the end of the month, you know, the book will actually be in some hands. But yeah, pre-orders are coming soon, hopefully in a couple days.
When the link drop, y'all, please help us share it, purchase it, share it.
Yeah, man, and, this is gonna be exciting. It's my first. I never thought that my first book would be a recipe book.
I wouldn't either, because
I know, but my second book is already up here. My second book is already up here.
But you do like to cook, though.
I do like to cook, but I just never thought that my first ever book that I would release would be a recipe.
Is the Lion's Mane recipe in there?
It is not, because I would have had to cook something that I was allergic to get the photos for it. So no, the Lion's Mane recipe is not in the book for my safety. So no, I wanted to, you know, I actually cooked all of the meals and stuff like that, and you know, took photos of the, you know, ready-made meals. And so no, unfortunately, my mane didn't make it in there.
Yeah, that's mine.
All right. Yeah. So we'll see y'all next week. Thank y'all for hanging with us. This has been a super dope episode. Y'all should share it with your people. Tell them to watch it. Tell them to listen. Tell them to take notes. Hopefully we'll continue to be able to bring you guys some amazing content.
And we're gonna drop the link in there. If y'all would, please go to YouTube and subscribe to the channel so that
you want me to drop the YouTube link?
Or whenever we get a chance. Yeah, but go to YouTube and just subscribe to the channel so that when we do post something or drop something, then you guys will get notified. And we want to continue to try to make change, right? And one of the things that you guys can do to help us make change is just click the subscribe button on that. YouTube starts to follow algorithms, and once we get to the point where we have enough followers, then we can control our own channel. So hey, I appreciate that.
And I just dropped the link for the email list. Get on there, because that's definitely important. Get on our email list. All the things, we'll be pushing stuff out for y'all. So thank y'all. We want y'all to have a great night. We'll see y'all next week.
Do the people that get on the email list get a discount on the book or something?
No.
Okay.
It's gonna be regular price.
Okay. I just wasn't sure. All right.
No, but we may release the book out on the email list first. How about that?
Yeah.
Good night, y'all.
Outer Circle B.